Welcome to the Nate Hate Podcast. This is a midweek episode, and today I'm going to be disparaging black people and women. Off to a great start, sounding like a fucking moron, stuttering on my own words. Awesome. Well, I guess I'll just get right into it. I think that black people have been taught this victim mentality. Not like over like the last couple years or anything, but like definitely my entire life. It's been like a thing where we always talk about how, like, black people are the victims in everything. Like, yeah, slavery was obviously bad, but, like, whenever we look at, like, gang violence and shit, I don't understand really how black people always get out of that. Like, they always use the thing of, oh, yeah, well, maybe they're doing this, but it's because of this. And I've always just kind of, like, set it back because, you know, like the other reality would have to be that black people are just fucking not taking responsibility for their own lives and acting like fucking animals. And it seems like that may be more of the reality than the other thing, now that I'm thinking about it more. Because, yeah, slavery was bad. You weren't a slave. And, like, even, I get it, people are born in bad situations, learned helplessness is a thing, but at a certain point, somebody's got to step up and be like, this is wrong. Like, a 3-year-old little girl that had nothing to do with our gang violence just got murdered, and it's all because of our little spat we're having. And no one, like, it's disgusting, really, that the whole community doesn't step up and just look at that and say, this is unacceptable behavior. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you look at, like, a group like the Republicans, there's a group of bad people you could pigeonhole them with. You could just call them a Nazi. But the Republicans separate the Nazis. Like, if you call the Republican a Nazi, they're going to be like, I'm not a fucking Nazi. I don't like those people. Those are bad people. But, like, it seems so hard for, like, black people to look at, like, the criminals and just separate themselves from that instead of just seeing it as, like, oh, well, you know, actually, let me address that. I feel that because whenever someone gets in a discussion about race and they're talking about black crime, I quickly find myself getting into an emotional discussion where I'm not actually focusing on fact and I'm doing the woman argument of, oh, well, I feel like this, and saying things and thinking that just because I feel them, it's true. Well, it's not. I mean, I feel that those people are deplorables. Like, really fucking a gang, just the concept of a gang that, like, you're gonna fuck with a group of people so hard that if anybody fucking disrespects anybody in that group, you are going to give them or another member in their group, so it doesn't even have to be them, an equal or greater amount of disrespect. And a lot of times that leads to, like, oh, well, you killed my brother, so I'm gonna kill 2 of your brothers. And now you killed 2 of my brothers, now I'm gonna kill 3 of yours. And, like, that logically just doesn't go anywhere. And, like, someone's got to eventually say something and put a stop to it. And, I mean, it's not like I have this great big platform or anything, but I just think it's weird that no black people will address that, like, at all. It's just a thing where you kind of skate over it, and it's like, oh, but the remnants of slavery live on, and it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, these niggas are actually fucking acting like insane people, going out and, like, killing each other just over gang wars, drugs, shit like that. I don't know, man. That guy that shot up the Brooklyn subway, they looked at his Facebook account and he was a racist. He was fucking saying disgusting things about white people. Like, just he's a black nationalist. And that's another thing, man, is people feel really comfortable being racist towards white people. And I was under the impression that whenever we said no racism, it was just, hey, let's not be racist to each other. Let's treat each other on the basis of our individual character. You know, the thing that we kind of fought a whole war over, like the whole, you know, like a thing we kind of made our entire country off of is, like, the fact that you're going to be judged on an individual basis. It's so annoying. And, like, I feel like maybe the big issue is identifying with your race. That's not a good thing. Like I said, we're an individual. Like, yeah, I'm black. I'm not like, if you say black guys do this, I'm not in that fucking category. Because, like, yeah, there's a lot of black guys. Black guys are different. It's a collective group. I think that I, like, put my own, I connect myself to it too much just because, like, oh, yeah, I am black. Stop doing that shit. You aren't a fucking collective. You're a person. If one of that, like, if a black person goes and shoots up a school and fucking does something, that's a white person shit, but just pretend with me for a second. If a black person goes and shoots up a school and fucking murders a bunch of children, and someone says, all black people go and shoot up schools and murder children, that will not ever be the case for me unless I am the one that personally goes and does it. So why in the fucking world am I sitting there defending, like, a whole group of people if I am not the group of people? Like, it's very strange. And I see that not just me. That's a really big thing in the black community. It's just like feeling like you have to stick with the group and like you'll be ostracized. Oh my God, I'm a fucking moron. Ostracized. Sorry guys, can't speak. From the group, like, I mean, not even ostracized from the group because I don't really hang out with a lot of black people. Like, there's about 6 of us in Reno, and we don't have a club. I'm sure you guys are shocked, but fucking, we gotta stop identifying as a collective, man. That never goes well. Like, what scenario is it gonna work better in that we deal with an entire group of people rather than the individual? Like, white people, they had slaves back in the day. For one, those niggas aren't even alive today. Like, I get it. Oh, well, their ancestors did this. Well, your ancestors sold them the slaves. Because there's a lot of slave traders that were black and, like, fucking just selling their criminals or prisoners of war just to get rid of their competition. If you're a Hispanic person, your fucking relatives are conquistadors that went around murdering people in the worst ways, worse than the English people. Everybody has a fucked up history, and America's a very young country, and our history is very much in the limelight because we established our government and our entire, like, idea of what we were less than, like, 400 years ago. England's been a country since a long fucking time. I know you thought that I was about to give you some number that was going to be bullshit, but I'm not. I have no clue. But they've definitely been around since at least like the 1300s, and like definitely been around since like before the fucking 1000. But like, so you can't look back and see the original England and like how long it took for them to progress. And like, yeah, slavery was bad. Find me another country that got their independence and then fought a war over slavery within the next 200 years. Well, how long was it? 1776 is whenever we started the Revolutionary War. 1865, I believe, is like around the 1861 maybe. So within 100 years, fighting a war for slavery, which also, I guess I could address that real quick. It wasn't really over slavery. Like, it definitely was like a factor. But the thing is back whenever they were originally the 13 colonies and like had their slave state, well, I guess whenever we first became America, they were, when they set up the government, they made it to where there was obviously 2 houses and you would get a certain amount of representation in the Senate just based off of being a state, and you get a certain amount of representation in the House of Representatives just because, and that's population based. And one, they're counting slaves, so that you'd get more representation in the House of Representatives if you had more slaves. That was like, try and remove the slavery part, like not remove it, but like don't think of it as them wanting to own people so bad that they fought a war. Like the South didn't fight a war because they wanted to keep people, because it wasn't that profitable at that point. It was actually more profitable. Let me explain that actually. It wasn't profitable because they had to house and feed these guys, like all these people, and that is going to be fucking expensive. And honestly, slavery might have died out if it wasn't for the cotton gin, because by then they were even saying, which is like 1820 or something, 1821, Eli Whitney. Yes, sir, I remember that. My social security. I am a fucking moron. My social studies teacher would be proud of me right now. But basically, they wanted to get more slaves, and they wanted to get more slave states so they could get more representation in the Senate and Congress, or the Senate and the House of Representatives, and vice versa. The North didn't want that because they wanted the opposite. They wanted less slaves because they knew that they would run up north. Well, no, actually, I take that statement back. That's not true. Don't know why I even started saying that. They wanted to make more free states so they could get more representation in the Senate, which is the second house of Congress, as I'm sure you guys probably fucking don't know. Laughing at my own shit joke. I'm the worst. But they wanted to get free states. So let's say Kansas, Nebraska. They're bringing those states in to the Union, and they're making them American states. Okay, well, is it going to be a slave state or is it going to be a free state? Well, from this perspective of the slave owners, if we let it be a free state, they're going to have more representation in the Senate than we do. And then if we ever have to come to a vote with anything, they're just going to beat us. And it's like, let's say Kansas was the first one. And the South is just like, all right, we'll let it be a free state. If we let it be a free state and we vote on Nebraska, they have more states than us that are free states than we do slave states. So how is it going to go whenever we vote on that? Obviously, they're going to vote to make it free. And then, well, what's going to happen when we bring in more states and more states and more states? Then we'll get outnumbered and they will be able to destroy our economy. It's mainly a money thing. Is like they were afraid that they were going to take away slavery. Well, I don't even know if they thought let me think about this. How I'm going to say it. They weren't worried about getting their ability to own a human being taken away. They are more concerned with the fact that it was going to hurt their way of life and their way of living. Like, their way of life and their way of living. God, you are a fucking idiot. Oh, sorry, guys. But, no, God damn it. And now I lost my train of thought. Civil War, not fought over slavery. It was over economics. I mean, yes, slavery was definitely the economic argument, but if it was over the ability to use farm equipment, certain farm equipment, well, I guess it was, but just antique farm equipment, no, but, oh man, if it was just over like farm equipment, like they're like, you can't use tails anymore, then they would have fought the same war. Because they're worried about their economics and like their entire country, well, not their country, but their states getting fucked over. That's really what the Civil War was about. Now, fast forward back to now. Slavery was obviously fucking terrible. But that's not us that were fucking enslaved. So I'm really fucking sick of hearing I gotta live with this and this and that. No, you fucking don't. Racism is definitely real. It is not nearly around as much as it was. You know how I know that? Because our last fucking president, well, listen to how stupid I am. I was going to say our last president was black. Yeah, Trump was a nigger. That's really a fact. Here, I'll even give myself one of these. Oh, and I'm a fucking moron. That was the wrong one. Yeah, I'll let that one play out. My unfunny joke. Yep, keep going. I gotta let her run. Yep. Yeah, I'll keep going. Yeah, fucking. We had a black president, guys. Racism can't be as much of an issue as you guys are trying to make it out to be if we elected a black guy to run the country. If you would. Let's think about this. In the 1800s, right after slavery, like right after slavery ended, how much of a chance do you think that a white person would even let a black dude live in the same neighborhood as him? Pretty fucking low. You know why? Because racism was real back then, and you actually had to worry about a lot of people that thought that you were less of a human being just because of the color of your skin. Now that's not really the issue. We're focused on microaggressions and shit like that because there's no real aggressions anymore. Macroaggressions. And that's really what we're worried about, I would assume, is the fucking actual, like, aggressive acts. Like, if someone were to lynch somebody, that would be a fucking problem. There's no way that there would be, like, a lynching nowadays, and, like, that wouldn't be a hate crime and the biggest fucking story on the news ever. Like, there's no way. Especially because the news loves being a business for entertainment. Dude, it's been so difficult. This, like, I guess just life. But looking at the news and realizing that they're an entertainment company. They're not the news company. No one pays them to give you the news. People pay them to get advertisement dollars and to have as many people watching their shit as possible. They don't really care that much about giving you the truth if it gets you eyes on it. Because it's like, okay, well, if they're wrong, then you might be upset and then go fucking watch what the fuck they're saying. Because that's what people like to get mad. People really enjoy getting angry. And this is coming from the dude that really enjoys getting angry and fucking screaming at my Snapchat camera. Snapchat, nice one, dumbass. But people really enjoy getting angry. And the news really enjoys getting money for having people watching. And they found out that the best way to get engagement is to make people mad. So that's why I believe that they're like the main ones to blame for this victimhood mentality of black people. And honestly, it's a lot of minorities where they just feel like just because they're a colored person, they can say and treat white people however the fuck they want. And I'm not the guy that's here to like white knight for white people. The KKK is already here for that. But seriously, guys, you can't fucking sit here and just like paint all white people as fucking evil. There's so many white people that slavery wouldn't have gotten ended if it wasn't for white people. Like, it's the same argument as like women saying, oh, men didn't want us to vote. Hey, jackass, who voted for you to get the right to vote? That's another thing, is women didn't even want the right to vote at first, because you didn't just get the right to vote of like, oh, well, I want to vote, so I'll go fucking vote. No, you had to go and like serve in the fire department or in the military. And guess who's not willing to actually carry their fucking weight? Oh yeah, women again. Yay, great. We fucking love them just because they have vaginas. And that's literally it. That's the only reason. And so, I mean, I guess whenever you're laying in bed at night with the thoughts screaming in your head that you're inadequate, you can be holding another human being, and maybe the warmness of them will make you hate yourself a little bit less. But who knows? I don't know anything about that. Fucking back to black people. You can't treat white people as a whole white people, because you would hate it. You would make a big fucking deal about it if a white person was just lumping you in with all black people. Like, earlier, I heard someone like make a joke about white people fucking looking like a bunch of chicken cutlets slapping together. And then right afterwards, they were like, no, I'm kidding, I didn't mean that. And I literally stopped them. I was like, yes, you did. Like, that's funny. I like that. That's a good joke. But don't fucking back off of it and just pretend like you didn't just say that because it's actually what you're thinking. Like, that's almost as cowardly as fucking me. Well, not really. But that's pretty fucking cowardly. And that's annoying. Like, feeling like you can just throw a shot at white people like that. Like, if someone said, oh, black people fucking is disgusting, it just like looks like two burnt pieces of toast rubbing together, then you would have an issue with that. You wouldn't fucking like that at all. And a lot of black people don't even like racist jokes. Like, they can't even handle, like, if a black person hears me sitting here saying nigger, they're not going to be able to look past the actual word and look into what I actually mean by it. Like, I'm taking that word and I'm making it not matter anymore. Cause, I mean, like, I'm not using it in a hateful way. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Nigger, spick, Jew, kike. They're just words. It really matters what you think or how you feel when you're saying them, rather than just you saying them. And like, we really got to get back to that mentality of like, words aren't as important as your actions. Like, let's say I fucking hate women. Imagine, put yourself, I know that it's going to take a lot of effort from you, but imagine if I hated women. And I have no clue where I was going with this, but just imagine that and stick with it. There you go. Now you're in reality. But, oh my God. We got to stop. Really, even me. I'm the biggest hypocrite of all. You really should not listen to me. Like, you should listen to me, but you should just take, like, all the bullshit that you hear me spewing and just look at, like, the actual, like, the stuff I'm saying here isn't not true. Like, the stuff I'm saying here is not false, but I'm still a hypocrite. And like, I don't have to tell. Yeah, don't worship me as a god, guys. Like, I know it was a real big issue of you guys wanting to do that, but no, like, I'm a fucking hypocrite here and a liar. No, like, ugh. See, I don't even know where I was going with this, and now I fucking completely lost myself. So I guess I'll just jump over to the women part. The women part. Women. Women when women. Women don't take responsibility, bro. I swear. I'm sure like a lot of you that are seeing this are going to have seen it because I put a link on my story. If you see this because you follow me on Spotify, I'm going to dap you up. You're my nigga. But fucking most of you are going to see this from my Snapchat. So maybe you watched the stories of last night of me basically ripping myself a new asshole because I am a piece of shit and deserved it. And you would think that like someone is open and honest and shares their actual feelings and people would just like kind of accept it. And they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool that he did that. Let me let it go. No, there's bitches sliding up like, see, that's the way you hate women. It's really just because you hate yourself. No, I hate women because that stupid horse shit you just did there. You really tried to deflect my honesty onto you not taking any responsibility for shit I say. Like, I'll point out like, oh yeah, women don't take responsibility, want to be treated like fucking children until they want to be treated like adults. And they just fucking completely deflect it. And they're like, oh yeah, with this. And they'll throw something else at you that makes no fucking sense. And they'll say it like it's a fact just because they feel it. And you really got to point that shit out to bitches. Like, let me say it. Let me bring this mic real fucking close so you can really fucking hear me. Just because you have a pussy and an opinion doesn't make either of them matter. There you go. Fucking, you can't just say, oh no, this is true. Because, like, this bitch arguing about Joe Biden versus Trump. They're both sacks of shit and morons. Both of them. Trump said windmills give you cancer, but Biden is actually mentally not there. And like, she didn't acknowledge it. And she's just like, he has a stutter, you know? And I looked at her and I was like, no, he doesn't. He hasn't had a stutter his entire 40-year career. He just has one now because he's obviously his brain is decaying because he's an 80-year-old man, and 80-year-old men's brains don't work as well as they did when they were 40. And she looked at me and goes, no. And it's like, okay, bitch, I'm waiting. Give me an argument, because no isn't a fucking argument. No is just you sitting there saying, like, that doesn't fucking do anything for anybody. You're not contributing to the conversation. You think you are too. You think that just you sitting there expressing your feelings makes anybody care about them, and you don't work on fact-based like realities like men do, because you don't have to, because it's men's fault, really. We walk around letting you walk around. We walk around letting you walk around. Yeah, nice one, Nathan. No, we walk around fucking just because we want to have sex with you, making you think that your opinion matters or that we care about you for anything other than your pussy. And that's our fault, because now that we've done that, you guys listen to us and fucking you start saying that shit. And it's like, no, not really. Like, your opinion doesn't matter until you make it matter. And the thing is, you're probably sitting there like, oh, that's sexist. No, nigga. Do you think that I give a fuck about a dude's opinion until they express it in a way that it actually makes sense? Like, I literally sit there and argue with, I'm not trying to throw Jay under the bus, but I literally will sit there and argue with Jay, and whenever he's saying something that doesn't make sense, I'll tell him it doesn't make any fucking sense and call him retarded. And like, I fully expect the same thing back. Not because I'm calling him retarded. That nigga's he's working to be an engineer. But because the idea itself is retarded. I don't give ideas merit until they actually warrant it. And I feel like you really need to work like off of that basis. Not of the, oh, everyone's opinion matters. No, it doesn't. If there's some fucking homeless nigga in Reno screaming in people's faces, runs out and gets tagged by a fucking car, then no one's going to listen to his black nationalism and screaming out that black people need to take over the fucking country again. That opinion doesn't matter. I'm not saying silence it. Please let it happen. As a matter of fact, this is a perfect time to address it. I think I will fight tooth and nail. Well, I say I will. I'm a coward and a hypocrite and a liar. So don't actually believe this. But this is just what I'd like to believe is true. Is I will fight tooth and nail to let the KKK march on a city. You know why? Everyone deserves their free speech. If the Klan is marching through like a city, that's not going, like, as long as they're not physically damaging things, which, like, there's laws for that. But, like, them just protesting, if they want to walk through the city and have their little hate speech thing, then that's fine. Like, I don't like those idiots. They're morons. You guys know they're morons. Everyone knows they're morons except for them. And you know why they don't know that they're morons? Because they can't speak freely to anyone other than other KKK members and actually have a discussion about, like, hey, like, if a KKK dude talked to me, he would be fucking utterly shocked seeing a black dude with dyed dreads walk up to him and be able to enunciate his words properly and clearly express his thoughts. Me giving myself way too much credit in an episode where you guys have heard me stutter on my words way too many times. But let them talk. They can be morons. Not only will it change their minds of, like, they can come out to the city and have a discussion. And I would go out to that discussion. And, like, I mean, they're hopefully not going to try and hurt me. But I just want to talk to them. Like, just listen to their thoughts. Let them. You're never going to change anybody's mind. You're never going to change anybody's mind. You're never going to change anybody's mind. I have to do that for myself. I'm sorry. You can only present a reality that they want to accept more than the one that they currently have. That's the only way it's going to work. Whenever you try and change somebody's mind, their guard goes up immediately. It's so hard. Like, we kind of take our ideas and we put them all into ourselves and think that that kind of establishes how much you matter as not how much you matter, but we take our ideas and attach ourselves to them way too much. And don't think this is me being deep or anything. This is just me being a fraud copying Joe Rogan. This is not an original thought. But, like, we attach ourselves to our ideas like they're fucking, like it's us. Like, if I'm sitting here saying all this shit and someone were to come up and be like, Nathan, no, the KKK shouldn't be able to rally on a city. Like, I'm going to immediately, like, put my guard up and be like, what the fuck are you saying? Because I know why I believe that. And if they're saying it and they're not presenting a reality in which that makes more sense than mine, where I can change my mind to take it, then I'm going to be thinking about all my reasons. And even when they're talking in the middle of an argument, I'm not really hearing them. I'm just sitting there listening or thinking about what I'm going to say next to them to try and make my point sound more right. But you can't change somebody's mind like that, like by just telling them they have to change it. Like, so the KKK, if they come out and they're talking about their racist shit in the middle of the city, people are going to see it. And yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 people will be like, that speaks to me. I'm going to go and join that. That sucks. Whatever. I mean, those people might have found it anyways. And, like, good. Honestly, I'm glad that they found a group that they fit in with. But on the contrary, them talking like that, most of us are going to look at them and be like, these fucking morons. You really think that black people have smaller brains just because the outside of their skin? That's a measurable thing, jackass. We can actually check that and you're going to look like a fucking idiot. Like, a lot of the things they're going to say are just going to be brazenly not true and fucking obviously wrong. And they're going to make themselves, one, look a lot fucking worse to people because, like, as it is right now, the KKK is like a very low-brow thing. Like, that's not something that you put on your fucking resume anymore as being a part of being the Imperial Wizard. You leave that one off the old CV. Fucking, oh God, that joke bombed and I lost my place. But, oh yeah, this is the right time. But, you gotta let those idiots speak, because not letting them speak makes it look a lot more attractive to them, because they're just going to sit there and they're going to be like, see, this is how I know I'm right, is because they won't even let me, like, express my ideas because they know if it gets out, it's going to change so many people's minds. No, let them go out there. We want to see who's in the KKK. We want to see who's the morons that are doing that. You know why? Because most people wouldn't associate with them afterwards. Most people would look at that and be like, all right, bro, you're a fucking moron. I guess have fun with that. I mean, and like, I don't like the KKK. I'm just saying I want them to be able to go out and talk, because then it's going to be very clear that they're going to make themselves look like morons. Right now, they're in the dark, and the only way you can find out about them is through their little teachings in closed scenarios with only them. So yeah, if someone goes in there and there's a group of 80 people that's agreeing with them and you just want to fit in, it's going to be really hard to like look at them and be like, guys, that seems pretty wrong. But you let that happen in public, someone's not going to feel like, oh, well, I'm in a big group of KKK members. I can actually go and have a discussion with them or just hear what they have to say. And like you are in that scenario of feeling like you're going to be left out if you don't agree with it. I don't know, man. I'm probably rambling. You guys probably think none of this shit made sense at all. But fuck it. It was about 30 minutes of an episode. I'll fucking play myself out. This was the Nate Hate Show, the midweek episode. Thank you for coming, guys. Hopefully you don't get AIDS. Gay motherfucker. I'm having fun at the soundboard now, guys. I know, that's your response. Alright, well, have a good week, or the rest of your week, faggots and niggers.